Hi, I'm Chelsea Cannell. Jeremy Lin continues to transcend the basketball world, and to help us break down the Linsanity is Howard Beck, who covers the team for the New York Times. And Howard, you've been covering the NBA for a long time. Have you ever seen anything like this?
Really, no one has. We've seen great performances over the years. We've seen great streaks. We've seen great game-winning shots, but we've never seen it all come from a guy who, 2 weeks beforehand was, fourth or fifth on a point guard depth chart, undrafted, overlooked coming out of college, overlooked coming out of high school, cut by two teams. It just doesn't happen this way. Jeremy Lin is a guy who nobody thought was even a rotation player, possibly, a few weeks back. And he's doing things that usually we only see all-stars do. So, no, there's nothing that quite compares to this, at least in the time I've been covering the league.
So what do you think makes him so special?
I mean, the sensation surrounding Jeremy Lin has everything to do with just the unlikeliness of his path. Whether it's the fact that he came from Harvard and there hadn't been a Harvard player in the NBA in over 50 years, the fact that he's Asian American and he's only the fourth Asian American ever to make the league and the only one there right now, whether it's the fact that he went undrafted, through 2 rounds, whether it's the fact he was cut twice in December. I mean, all of these things just point to this, he's just become the ultimate underdog and the ultimate, come from nowhere success story. People are attracted to this because you couldn't see it coming and because his profile is what it is. A guy that nobody expected was going to be able to do these kinds of things in the league and perform at this kind of level. So there's that, but it's also just, look, the way he carries himself. Jeremy Lin's a very humble guy. He's got a little bit of swagger to him when he's on the court, but when he's off the court talking about it, he's constantly deferring praise to his teammates, to his coaches. There's, not a lot of braggadocio about him. The fact that every day is kind of a new adventure in all this, and again, it's just the joy that he's showing around it, the joy his teammates have for him, it's just very infectious to fans, obviously, around the world.
Howard, critics say Lin is the product of Mike D'Antoni's system. Steve Nash won 2 MVPs while playing in D'Antoni's offense. How long do you think it'll be till the league figures him out?
Yeah, every player, every point guard who's been in Mike D'Antoni's system, who's had the skills to run it, has shined a little brighter in the system. I mean, Raymond Felton and Chris Duhon were much better under D'Antoni in New York than they were elsewhere in their careers. So there's something to it. The system does bring out the best in a point guard, but that point guard has to know how to exploit the system, has to have the skills to do it. So let's not diminish anything Jeremy Lin's doing by saying, it's just a product of the system. He's, look at individual plays. Look at the way he's beating guys. Look at the decisions he's making with the ball, the way he's finding people, the way he's making open shots. I mean, that's all a credit to him. Where it goes from here, who knows? I mean, I've been saying lately that we couldn't see any of this coming, and we don't know where it's going, and I think we should just enjoy it for what it is and as it unfolds. But, people are rightfully wondering, okay, how high is his ceiling now? Is he a full-time starter? Is he an all-star? Is he one of the best point guards in the league? And 7 games in, I don't think we can answer any of those things conclusively. But we've seen some really great flashes, and the guy has fantastic potential to do, I think, much, much more. And he's still only 23. He works really hard by all accounts. He's improved himself just even in the last, year and a half since he went undrafted. So, it's up to Jeremy Lin, I think, where he takes us next.
Finally, the big question now is, what happens when Carmelo Anthony returns to the lineup?
Yeah, that's a very popular curiosity right now. Carmelo's used to having the ball in his hands a lot. He's used to being able to isolate, to go one-on-one, to post up. And I think he's just going to have to, concede a little bit more of his game and control of the ball to Jeremy Lin at this point. I mean, they've established a certain chemistry, and it's been successful. They've won 7 in a row, and they're playing a certain way. And I think the onus is on Carmelo Anthony at this point to fit into what's happening. And I think he can, and I think he will. He's an incredibly skilled ball player. He doesn't have to play one way. Carmelo can find his scoring in a lot of different ways. That's what's made him a great player. So I think he sees where this team is right now. I think he'll figure out a way to mesh his skills with what they're doing right now. And that should make them only better, and it should make Jeremy Lin that much better too.
All right, Howard, thanks for the insights. Don't forget, FoxSports.com has you covered for all your basketball needs. I'm Chelsea Cannell, and we'll see you next time.